So, a couple of weeks ago, I decided to do a 90-day experiment where I focus solely on my health and content. And in case you missed it and you're wondering why those two things, well, first of all, my health, because a couple of years ago, I lost 20 kilos and I managed to keep it off until I gained it back. I gained back like a couple of kilos, and my routine was just all over the place. I wasn't as consistent as I was before. So, I really want to dive deep and sort of lock in a sense where I want to be consistent. And secondly, on content, I really want to grow on YouTube and build my YouTube channel and community. And that also includes, being active on Instagram as well. So those are the two platforms that I am, trying to build and grow and just overall be consistent. That's the thing. Like, the whole overarching of all things in life, I realize, is to be consistent, because you can be like the slowest person, or you can be not the most skillful or not the most talented, but the moment you are consistent compared to someone who is quote unquote more skillful than you, but they are like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it once in a while, like, guess who is going to succeed faster? Obviously the one who is consistent. So that is something that I'm trying to strive for, and honestly it has not been easy. And I do think it's because all habits die hard, for sure. And I just want to be real and honest with you guys as to during this 90-day experiment, what has happened so far. And at the moment that I'm talking about this is on the second week. I'm gonna give you an honest breakdown of what happened for the first week up until today. And if you're not already subscribed to my Substack, which is basically a newsletter that you can read when I send it out in your email if you're subscribed to it. If not, you can just go to my Substack and read it like on a normal website. But I posted about my very honest, summary of my 90-day experiment for the first week. And I've laid down a couple of non-negotiables that I plan to do. Promise myself to do every single day for the next 90 days. And I went in with an all or nothing mindset, as much as I don't want to admit it. And I remember briefly saying that, I'm calling this an experiment because, I just want to see how it is. I don't want to call it a challenge, because the moment I call it a challenge, it's going to be like 75 hard or like Project 50. And if I, don't complete one task for that day, I feel like I failed. And to be honest with you, despite putting the word experiment, I still have that all or nothing mindset. And, I'm not as embarrassed to admit now, but while I was writing in my Substack post, I did say that I was kind of embarrassed to admit that, I didn't really follow through all the things that I thought I was going to follow through. And, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to own up to it. I'm not going to pretend and be like, oh yeah, I did all those things and it's so perfect. But the thing is like the things that I do, obviously you can see, because, one of the non-negotiables is post 3 Instagram reels per week. I didn't even post 3. I only posted 1. And I'm gonna, talk about what I did for the first week. So the first non-negotiable is to go to the gym 3 times a week. And I only went twice. The second non-negotiable is to run twice a week. I did not run at all. Although I did run on Sunday, which is the day before I actually started the whole experiment. But obviously that doesn't count, but whatever. The third one is to hit 10,000 steps daily. Now, I really struggle with this. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I don't know how to plan my time efficiently. I need to learn how to time block, and because I didn't do that, I feel like I'm always like rushing, it's like, oh shit, I have like, this amount of steps that I need to hit today, and it's like, already 9 p.m. And even though I have a walking pad, I realize I don't really make use out of it as much as I want to. It's like I create friction for myself. That's why I, don't hit this non-negotiables as easy as it should be, if that makes sense. So on average, I actually hit 6,000 steps daily. There are some days where I hit like 9,000 steps. It really depends. And yeah, I really need to try to make 10,000 steps. It's so funny. I realized that, back then when I was in my weight loss journey, where I actually was looking forward to my walks, and instead of like walking on the treadmill or the walking pad, I went for an outdoor walk. And I realized when I do walk outdoors, it is just so much more easier to hit 10,000 steps as compared to doing it indoors. But yeah, the next non-negotiable is to have home cooked meals. And this one I'm kind of proud, because I actually cooked from Monday all the way till Saturday. Well, actually, Friday I went out with my sister, so we had sushi, and then we had a cheeky tea time, which it wasn't needed, but it was needed for the mental health and for the soul. I just love drinking tea, whether it's ice or hot with kaya toast. Oh, anyways, yeah, that's Friday, and then I think dinner, because I went back to my sister's place. We had like chicken that she bought, so I didn't cook at all on Friday, and Sunday I ordered lunch. Because I just felt like it. I was like, I feel like eating mirabos, and I'm like, I should have restrict myself. So that's what I did, which I need to stop doing that. I need to stop giving myself excuses. Anyways, moving on. Next is to write daily and post on Substack once a week, which I did. So I write daily. I practice writing daily. And this is just a form of habit. When I write, I either write on my Notion page, or I write on my journal where I do my morning pages. So basically, when I wake up, I automatically go to my journal and I write things. And it's just like stream of consciousness, where whatever comes to mind, whatever you're feeling or thinking that day, you just dump everything in. And I realized that when I do write, I try to practice writing in, I guess, proper sentences. I would say it's not something where, when you're texting a friend, it's very casual and informal, right? You're not gonna you'll put like emojis or say LOL, that sort of thing. But I don't do that when I do my morning pages. I actually practice proper writing, and I find that when I do actually write on a piece of paper, I find it to be much more satisfying for me as compared to typing on my Notion or my notes. But I do it every single day. That is something that I genuinely enjoy, so I find it really easy to stick to. And also, I find that when I list down the things that I'm grateful for, it really helps to kickstart the day, even though there are some days where I feel like, today's gonna be a shitty day. And the moment I actually force myself to write those things that I'm grateful for, not force myself in a way like, oh, you have to write and think of something, but it's like, even the little things I can be grateful for. Like, I'm grateful that I have groceries at home. I'm grateful that I can afford gym membership. Those little things that actually help to kickstart the day. But yeah, I posted once on Substack, and I'll continue doing that, which I did this week as well. And the next one is to post on YouTube once a week, which I also did. The last one is to post 3 reels per week on Instagram. But I only posted 1 reel and 1 carousel. So technically, I only had 2 posts on the first week. And there we have it, a review on my week 1. And to be completely honest with you guys, having this all or nothing mindset can be really toxic, because you have this certain expectation that everything has to be perfect, everything has to be ticked and checked off from the list. And yes, it can be really satisfying to tick things off from the list, but at the same time, if you look at things in a black and white way, where it's like, oh, if I do all these things, it's perfect, I'm gonna ace this thing. The whole point of having this experiment is so that I can tweak certain things. It's a bit of like a trial and error, but at the same time, I still feel a bit ashamed that I didn't, stick through the things that I said that I was going to do in this 90-day experiment. And for God's sakes, it was only 1 week. What more like the other weeks to come, where, there are other obstacles and circumstances will change. Like, will I continue doing this? Will I still keep up with it? And the thing is, like, I just hate that I lack consistency. And I had this thought where it's like, oh, I have a small following and no one would even care if I made it through or not, right? But then it made me realize it really matters what you say you're going to do, because, where is my self-respect if I don't follow through the things that I said that I was going to do? Your actions is a reflection of yourself. Here are 4 things that I've actually learned from reflecting on this 90-day experiment so far. And the first one is motivation isn't always reliable. And I know that is like so common sense, right? Like, why is it that I have to still remind myself that, motivation isn't always there? Motivation is just a spur of the moment. The rest of it is pure discipline. Momentum will only show up when it is built through action. And the thing is, I have not done so much of the things that I said that I was going to do. So not much action has been done. So how is it that I'm going to gain the momentum if I'm not moving forward, right? And that really hit me. As much as I don't feel like doing certain things, or like, oh, I have a lot of client work, I need to prioritize this, I need to prioritize that, I need to prioritize myself as well. And I always talk about, self-growth, self-care, put yourself first. But honestly, I've not been doing that for myself, and I need to stop it. I want to shake myself and be like, dude, come on, okay? Like, yeah. And another one is your mind and body will resist the first few weeks. And I've not gotten through the first few weeks, only like the first week. Obviously, I still need time to get used to it. So at the moment that I'm speaking right now, it is the second week. It is a Wednesday. It's been better than the week before. But one of the things that has helped me, move forward is Leila Hormozi says, fuck your mood and follow the plan. That is exactly that I keep reminding myself, because if you follow your mood every single time, you're never going to get to where you want to go. So, you cannot expect to do certain things half-ass and then expect the full outcome. You need to put in 100% effort to see the results. But if you're only putting in 50% or 75% of your effort, you're not going to see the full outcome the way that you want it to be. And the reason that I know that my mind and body will resist the first few weeks is because, I've been through different types of challenges in my life. And I do have to say, the first few weeks are always going to be hard. It's just like going to the gym, right? Which is so funny because, I only went to the gym twice a week. But seriously though, it's going to be difficult or tough the first few weeks. But after that, you just gain the momentum and it eventually just becomes a habit. And I know that because I've done it before. And I think it's really comforting knowing that, okay, because I know that I've done it before, it means that I can always do it again. And also, don't underestimate yourself. The third thing is realizing that I've created resistance in my life, and that I'm sorry, that's my alarm. I need to stop it. Moving on. Yeah, the third thing is realizing that I've created resistance in my life, and that's why it's been hard to show up. And this actually correlates a lot to my evening routine, where I don't go to sleep early. So I typically go to sleep at midnight or 1 a.m. at most. How do you expect to wake up early in the morning, function like a normal human being if you're going to sleep late? Seriously. And I ask myself a lot, and I don't have any excuse because I don't have kids. My house is always quiet, It's just me. I have to be responsible for myself. And at this point, I've not been responsible in a sense to keep up with this experiment. Maybe you can tell that I'm kind of frustrated with myself is because I am. I am frustrated because I did not keep up with the things that I say that I was going to do. And, it's like, I don't want to be known as, that girl that doesn't keep up with her shit, What do you expect? It's her. You're like, I don't want to be that, okay? So I'm just being honest with you guys right here. And the last one is creating a system that I know will make my life 10 times better. So it's common sense, right? Especially with my freelancing business. Obviously, when I want to make it efficient, I need to create a system, which I did. So why not create a system for my 90-day experiment that will help me thrive my non-negotiables? I think I just did all these things on a whim, and that's why I was kind of all over the place. As much as it is great to just take messy action, I've said before time and time again, at the same time, it's good to still, plan things out, because if you go to sleep late, you're not gonna have a nice morning routine that you plan in your head the night before at 1 a.m. So yeah, my goal is to go to sleep early and wake up at 6 a.m. because my body right now naturally wakes up at 8 or 8:30 a.m., which I know is a privilege to most people, because I know people who have kids that wake up super early in the morning. I wish I can wake up that early in the morning. I know I can, but I just need to, get into the habit. At the end of the day, I had to reconnect with my why. Really think back, okay, why is it that I cannot, go through all of my non-negotiables? Is it because they're unrealistic? Is it because my routine does not allow me to do that? Or am I just making excuses? Am I self-sabotaging myself? I really had to dig deep, and I just realized I had a lot of excuses. That is all. And I just procrastinate a lot, which is bad, really bad. So that's something that I'm definitely working on. And here we are on week 2 of the 90-day experiment. Moving forward, I will create my systems, and hopefully we will, do better. Not hopefully, we will do better. I will do better. So yeah, and the funny thing is, I posted on my Instagram talking about the lessons that I've learned posting on YouTube for 3 months. And I did say posting a scrappy video got me more views than a polished edited video. And the polished edited video, I was referring to my episode 1 of the 90-day experiment. And it's funny because I posted that video and like it only has 77 views. But a couple of days later, it's only hit like 500 views. I'm like, what is happening? And then I think now it has like over 1,000 views, which I know is not a lot in, YouTube standards or whatever. But for me, it was like, oh, okay. I don't know how the algorithm works, but I just thought that it was funny that I said that it didn't do well. But then again, it suddenly had views. Anyway, off tangent. But with that being said, I have a question for you. Like, if you've ever fallen off track, what helped you to get back into momentum? Because right now I'm trying my very best to get back into the momentum of things, into the swing of things, get into the routine. I just want to be consistent. That is all, okay? Like, the all or nothing mindset has got to stop. Obviously, I'm not going to be like, oh, we're going to reset and start again from day one. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep on continue doing what I've done so far for week 1, but just make it better. And I think that's a bit comforting knowing that I have the ability to like tweak and change, because most of the time I always think that things have to be perfect, but like honestly it doesn't have to. And because I did say that it is my 90-day experiment and I can just tweak around, do a bit of like trial and error, I'm going to sort of tweak slightly for my non-negotiables. So gymming 3 times a week, I'm still going to keep that because, I need to be consistent. Run twice a week, I'm still going to keep that because, this week I went for my first run and honestly, I felt really good. And it's just really nice. I feel like you are in a meditative state. You're in a meditative state when you go for a run. I don't know how to describe it unless you've experienced it before. Then, it's almost like you're in a trance, where when you're like, okay, I can keep up with this pace. I have the momentum. I'm just going to keep on going. And it's, I don't know, it just feels great. I suppose that's kind of like a runner's high or something. Back when I was in my weight loss journey, I actually did this challenge where you run 1 mile every single day, which is kind of insane now that I think that, wow, I had that discipline that I could actually do that. And if, let's say, I miss out on certain days, like let's say today I miss out 1 mile. So tomorrow, instead of running 1 mile, I'll run 2 miles to make up for it, which is something that I'll be doing for my 10,000 steps. And instead of like, taking it day by day, as long as my entire week is added up to 70,000 steps, because it's equivalent to 10,000 steps a day. If you want to break it down equally, then it's great. So it doesn't matter to me if like today I have 5,000 steps and tomorrow I have like 8,000 steps, as long as at the end of the week I have 70,000 steps. So it takes the pressure off for me. And, I don't need to have this invisible pressure because no one is pressuring me into anything except for myself. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with 70,000 steps per week. And the next one is to, have home cooked meals. So I'm not going to be super rigid about it. Obviously, there are days where I'm going to work at a coffee shop and I'm going to order a glass of coffee and maybe I'm going to have lunch there. So instead of like, I must eat like home cooked meals every single day. I just want to make healthier choices, to be completely honest with you, because, I have to I have to look at it in a realistic point of view. Like this Sunday, I have a picnic with my family. So obviously I'm not gonna I'm still gonna eat home cooked meals, but they can also be unhealthy home cooked meals. So the thing is, I just want to be balanced and, just to be aware of my portions, So if let's say I'm eating outside, like I go out to a restaurant, cafe, whatever, I'm obviously gonna opt for the healthier option. So I'm not gonna stress myself so much like, oh my god, today I did not eat any home cooked meals. So I am basically, fucking up this 90-day experiment. Like it doesn't work that way. But I do have to say, I actually enjoy cooking, as weird as it sounds. The thing that I don't enjoy is the fact that I have to clean. Like the act of cleaning up after is just so time consuming. And now I understand why people meal prep, because obviously when you prep your meals, you just pop it in the microwave and you're done. It's easy, you know? I won't meal prep meals, I will prep ingredients. So let's say I bought salmon, all my salmon are already marinated. All I need to do when I eat is just pop it in the air fryer or just pan fry it and I'm done. Like basically I have, all the things ready so that I can just, sometimes I don't feel like eating fish, maybe I feel like eating chicken, then I'll just, pop in the chicken in the air fryer. It is what it is. I'm trying to be real with you guys. I'm not gonna, pretend to be like I'm so perfect when I know that I won't meal prep. Also, I just prefer to ingredient prep. Just personal preference. And the next one is to write daily. I'm still going to do that, write daily and post on Substack once a week. That's still doable. I can still keep up with it and I actually genuinely enjoy doing it. Same with posting YouTube once a week. Ideally, I would love to post twice a week, like one vlog and one podcast episode. But my goal now is just to be consistent. I don't want to stress myself out or like burn myself out and be like, I'm supposed to post twice a week, but I only posted one and then I will feel like a complete failure. Like I just want to eliminate all those unnecessary thoughts and pressure that I put on myself. So yeah, I will still stick to once a week on YouTube for my posting cadence. And lastly is on Instagram. So instead of posting 3 reels every single week, I'm just going to put it as 3 postings every single week. So it could be like 2 reels, 1 carousel, 2 carousels, 1 reel, whatever that works for me. And that is something that I definitely can stick by. It's just something to practice, right? Because it's just like going to the gym. You have to put in the reps. The more reps you do, the more that you practice, the better you become. It's same as posting content. And I'm a social media manager for like different clients from different industries. So their niches, like their industry is very different. Okay. So as compared to mine, where, where I'm trying to build a personal brand, I'm just a creator. And right now, I have this struggle where I don't know where to position myself. And I know that is just not important because obviously, I don't have a lot of followers, which is a good thing because it means that I can pivot and experiment as many different styles of content that I want until, I find one that is not just enjoyable to create, but also works with, building the audience that I would want. So the one thing that I do really struggle is that every single time when I post, I have this stupid pressure on myself. Yet again, another pressure where it's like, is this post giving any value? Is it valuable to anyone? And then it becomes like super rigid. But at the same time, I still want to show like my normal personality. And I find that I struggle with that the most because I just question myself every time that I post something, is it valuable? But then again, I have to give myself grace because, I've not done it often for my own personal brand. So I just have to keep on experimenting, right? And whatever, some posts are going to be great, some posts are not going to be great. That's just life. And, people can blame the algorithm as much as they want. Sometimes it's just not the algorithm. Sometimes your content just sucks and you just need to be consistent. And that's just the harsh truth, honestly, that I, even myself, have to hear about my own content. Like there are times where I will post a content what I'm like super proud of, but then it's like slightly different from what I've always been posting. And then I lose followers, Honestly, followers, like vanity metrics, they don't matter as much as you think. For me, as long as I get to build a community where my posts are engaging, where people are either commenting or sharing or saving, and I'm interacting with people on direct message, that's just something that I look forward to. So those are the things that I've tweaked slightly from my non-negotiables on my 90-day experiment. And if you made it this far to listen to this, then thank you so much. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, I would really appreciate it if you could give me a positive rating. Or, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel because honestly, it supports me a lot. Again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching this video. And I will see you guys in my next one. Goodbye.